I'm Amy from Doodle Dog Designs. In this video I'm going to make a punch needle scissor fob. So I designed this oval shape and I'm going to do red and white stripes and then a blue star. I'll put a link in the description below to the pattern. It will be in my free pattern library. I'm going to use my light box to trace this. I used this weaver's cloth the other day to show you how my little miniature Russian punch needles work, and I removed the thread. I was just doing a sample, so it's got a little residue there, but when I punch over that it will be fine. I'm using a fine tip marker and I'm going to trace this pattern onto the weaver's cloth. When you're doing a punch needle pattern, you do want to make sure the pattern has been reversed because you punch on the back side and the finished punch project will end up being the reverse of what you punch. I'm going to put this in my no-slip lap stand and get the fabric drum tight. I'm going to use my Smart Punch tool with a punching depth of 1. I'm going to start with the star, and I'm going to punch using 6 strands for this project. This is DMC 336. It's just a floss that I have on hand. You could use any red, white, and blue that you have that look good together. I have the star punch now. I'm going to use DMC 321 for the red stripes. I'm going to use DMC 712 for the cream stripes. I'm finished punching and I like the way it looks, but I like things to be a little bit grungier looking. So I'm going to coffee dye this, and I'm also going to use a piece of felted wool for the backing. So I'm going to coffee dye it while I'm at it. And I have, it's old seam binding that is turned into crinkle ribbon, and I want it to go in the same dye bath as well. So I've got some hot water here and some instant coffee. I'm going to put a heaping tablespoon, and I'm going to just go ahead and put everything in there. I'm going to cut this down a little bit just so I have less fabric to deal with, and put it in there as well. You want to make sure that your floss is color fast before you do something like this. Some of the flosses on the market today are color fast, the DMC is, but some of them are not. So you want to make sure, otherwise your punch needle project will be a mess. So I'm going to take it out and squeeze it, and then I'm going to leave it crumpled up to dry. And by leaving them crumpled up in balls to dry, the coffee will settle unevenly on it and it will make it more mottled looking. While my fabric is drying, I'm going to take some beads. I have 3 wooden beads. They're about 1/2 inch tall, and I'm going to paint them. Got a wooden skewer. I'm going to break it into 3 pieces. I've got a 1/2 circle styrofoam that I use to hold things while I'm painting, and I'm going to paint 1 red, 1 cream, and 1 blue. The beads are dry. I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper and sand them a little bit to give them a distressed look. And then I'm going to use some of this folk art home decor wax. I'm going to use a rag and rub it on and then another rag and rub it right back off. Then I will let those 3 dry. After everything was dry, I went and I pressed the punch needle and the backing. And I'm going to take the punch needle piece and I'm going to trim with my pinking shears about 1/4 of an inch all the way around the empty weaver's cloth. Then I'm going to press the empty weaver's cloth to the back of the project. So with that pressed to the back, I cannot see any of the empty weaver's cloth on the front. Now I'm going to take my wool and decide, which they both have some lovely staining, both sides. I want to use that, I think, this part right here. So it's got some of the dark and some of the light, and I want that to be the outside. So I'm going to put the 2 inside pieces together. So I have wrong sides together. And I'm going to use just plain scissors and cut all the way around the project. So you can see I have it lined up, and it's a little bit bigger than the area of folded over weaver's cloth, and that's going to be perfect because it's going to fold over as I sew it and cover up that fold right there. Now that that's ready, I want to get the other pieces ready so I can put everything together when I sew the backing on. I've got my crinkly ribbon. It's going to be down here and have the beads on it. I'm going to cut, stretched out, it's about 5 inches, and I'm going to cut it at an angle, help with the unraveling. And I'm going to tie a knot into this end that I just cut. Just pretty close to the end there. And then I'm going to take my beads and I'm going to string them on to the other end. To take a little skewer and poke that through. So I want to do them red, white, and blue in order. Red at the top. So put blue on first, and then the white, and then the red. Then I'm going to tie another knot down here close to the beads to hold the beads in place. Now this will be sewn into the bottom when I get to that part of sewing, and it will hang down like that. And then I want to do another piece, and this will be a loop that I can use to attach it to the scissors with. So about like that. This is about 12 inches long. Now I'm going to take a thread to match the backing. I'm going to start right in here, kind of close to the top, and then I'm going to work my way around. So I'm catching the folded over weaver's cloth and the wool backing and doing a whip stitch. Be careful not to catch the punched loops in my stitching. Okay, when I get to the top, the middle, I want to take my crinkly ribbon and I'm going to put the two ends together and slide it in here so the ends are inside. And I have a loop hanging out here. I decided the loop was longer than it needed to be, so I cut 2 inches off, so it's about 10 inches now. That seems better. Now, when I am stitching on this part, I'm just going to stitch back and forth. I can't do the width stitch anymore, but I can stitch back and forth. Again, I want to catch the folded over weaver's cloth and the wool, but I don't want to catch the loops. Now that I'm past the ribbon, I'm just going to continue doing the whip stitch until I get to the bottom. So I've sewn all the way around here and I'm at the bottom, so I want to put this in. So I'm going to have them in so that the knot is just about maybe 1/8 of an inch below my seam that I'm making. And I'll just do this part like I did the top. Once I get to it, I'll just go back and forth to sew that in. And once I get past this, I will whip stitch again. I've got a little opening here. I'm going to just put a tiny bit of stuffing in to the scissor fob. And then I will finish whip stitching it closed. So to attach it to the scissors, just want to thread one end of the loop through and then pull that through. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe below. I'll see you next time. Bye.